Hello everyone, I know it's a little late at night, but I did want to get a video done today. And I mentioned on Facebook that I was going to try and resize the Dwarven archway. And what I did was I went ahead, when I did the original build for the archway, I took the main pillar base and I mirrored it both on its y-axis, its z-axis, and on the x-axis, so that we got the main pillar base. And then once I finished that, I applied that mirror, and what I ended up doing was I just cut off the back piece and mirrored it on the y-axis, and then I built the top piece. So, and I believe that I did a video where I just did that right on camera. Well, I applied a second mirror. I mirrored it on the x-axis this time to create two pillars, so that we didn't have to build a second one or duplicate the object twice as many times on the server. And everything with them now seems to be working. When I originally uploaded them, you could see, for example, from this angle, you'd be seeing the tree through the pillar, but wherever the tree wasn't at, you could see the pillar. I don't know why it did that. It was what they call an occluder problem. I got that part fixed. The only thing that I'm trying to fix now is that they aren't solid. Don't know why they're not solid, but they're not. And it's just a bug that will have to get fixed before launch, of course. But launch is still a ways out. But anyway, what I've done is I've created a nice little path set for us. And the purpose of this path set is, one, to lead us from where I'm going to put the cave later. It's going to lead us to the Dwarven city itself, and the first area from here, if you were to start here, the first area that you would go from here would be the kind of like a nobleman's area, where only the rich are going to be at, and then you'll get to the lower class area from there. But from here, once you come in through the cave, you'll be led to this area, which this will lead you to the palace itself. This will lead you to the armory, which that location is noted by the Dwarven oak that we have over here. So named because they will be indigenous to the Dwarven areas. And then it'll lead abruptly to desert, as we saw in the world map picture, both on the Facebook page, and I believe I showed it in one of the first videos. So what I'm doing right now is I'm redoing this entrance block, and when I say redoing, I'm actually just remodeling it so that it appears more regal, something worthy of a palace. This little entrance door seems very plain to me. It's very flat. There's no what am I looking for? There's no substance to it. Like the outside of here, we have this wonderful shape that kind of looks like a pillar that was just built directly into the wall. We have, you know, the gold inlay attached to the jade. We have what's supposed to be a ruby. We're getting messages on Facebook. I took away the white box rooms because ultimately we're not going to have them when we do this area. I am going to do another. I'm going to use the original block here, which I did save another copy of it. We're going to be putting that here because this is going to lead to the room that will take us to our armory. Well, it'll lead us to the hallway. It's going to lead us to our armory, which will be over here, which will have the hallway here, And then we're going to have a bigger hallway over here. And then the armory itself will probably start about here, and it's going to go way up there. So, back over here. And really, that's the only thing I wanted to show you in the server today, is that I went ahead and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the pathing. I did put a texture on the ground because I got tired of looking at the gray checker pattern. But there she is. Nice and lined up. Lots of 90-degree angles and parallels. Exactly what I would expect from a Dwarven city, even though this is not your typical Dwarven city, as we can see with all the jade. It's not all rubies and gold and diamonds and gray and drab. There's a little more going on here, and the fact that we're not inside of a cave kind of helps. That being said, let's move back over here to our build. I was under the impression I had scaled this enough that I could see everything. Scale down. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do with this, which I haven't done with any of the building blocks yet, because I haven't really decided how I want to texture this just yet, but I guess I'll let you in on it. I'm actually just going to... I'm preparing this for the single textures that I'm going to be doing. And getting rid of all the unnecessary lines. So you'll notice also that this doorway is quite a bit bigger than the ones from before. Or the doorway from before and the doorways that we're going to be using inside the building. And I know that I'm adding a lot of faces right now, but one of the reasons why I want to add all of these faces now is because I just want to go in, dissolve the edges that I need to dissolve, and then dissolve the loose vertices that don't need to be there. That way we can come up with some nice clean lines, and then we can kind of edit to our heart's content at that point. So like this line here, we would take that, X, dissolve edges, and then we X, dissolve vertices, and that way it doesn't collapse in on itself. And then we'll just do the same thing over here so you get a better idea of what it is I'm doing. Dissolve, dissolve. Yay, it doesn't collapse. Man, I tell you what, when I figured that one out, I was a very happy camper. Remember again, I'm not formally trained whatsoever in 3D modeling. This is all just self-taught. Thank God for YouTube tutorials, or I would still be clueless. We are looking for people for internships, by the way. People who want to help on the project. Once I have funding for the project, then it may or may not. We'll take some of the best interns that we have, and we will probably give them jobs. All depends. The decision hasn't exactly been made yet on how that's going to work. But we are looking for people. Can't be doing all this by myself now. Alright, so I do like that. Now that we've got that, we can go ahead and do this. X, dissolve edges. Go ahead and leave you there. X, dissolve vertices. Whoops. Yeah, you're kind of necessary. I just want to leave these here just for fun at the moment. I will probably collapse every last one of those down, though. I'm just not going to do it right now on camera because it's going to be extremely tedious and extremely boring, and y'all don't want to watch that. If you guys are enjoying the build, by the way, make sure that you like the videos and you subscribe to the channel so you know when the rest of them show up. Pretty important. Helps us along. Helps us bring this to you guys faster. No, that's okay. That's not though. That's not okay. Next is all braces. Yay! Alright. I was saying something before and I think I kind of lost it. Don't remember what it was now. Tends to happen to me a lot. Oh, right. So this is going to be the entrance. I am going to try and pop some of this out, as it were. Just kind of give it that look that I would expect. Whoops. See what I mean about collapsing now? There we go. So now it just kind of fuses it all together. So anyway, what I was saying about that. I would expect a palace entrance to be quite a bit more grand than the more or less blah that we were getting from the other entrance. I would also expect some windows. These blocks, I didn't build two. I think I built one with a window. Well, that's really just not enough. So we're going to put some windows on these blocks. I don't know how I allowed myself to get this far into the build without building more blocks with windows, but I managed to pull it off quite swimmingly, it seems. And just for the record, that was sarcasm. Wasn't too pleased with myself when I did that one. Alright. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we're going to get rid of those. And those. Next, dissolve edges, dissolve vertices. Whoops. How'd that happen? Oh, there's a connector there. X, dissolve edges, you can stay, the rest of you gotta go. You gotta go. You're bothering me. These ones I'm just gonna do manually. The reason why I want to do these manually is because they're connected to the checkerboard grid that we have in the tiles over here, and I don't want it to go all the way around. So we're just going to do this, and we're just going to get rid of the extra vertices. These, to be honest, they really don't need to be there. I could, in theory, just get rid of all the extra edges under here, and then get rid of all the extra vertices, but that's going to be time consuming. And it's time we don't have right at the moment, because I only want this video to be about a half an hour, 40 minutes. Kind of like the others. I did kind of find that happy medium I was looking for within the 30-minute, 40-minute range. Texture. Yeah, see what's kind of happened now? It's kind of gone all wonky with our textures. It doesn't know what to do! It doesn't know what to do. Alright. That's fine. Alright, so let's go to faces. These faces. Hey. I will find that center point again. Alright, we're going to go 3 to our side beam. Extrude on the y-axis. And we're going to go 1. And we're going to deselect these for a second. And we're going to scale. Scale. That is scaling way too far. No, let's do these individually. Scale. Scale. Scale X. That's how we're going to go. Okay. Scale X to 3. 3 on the X. Scale Z. 1 should do it. Scale X, 1, 2, 3. Scale Z, 1. These two should be perfectly identical now. You know, now that I think about this, I really should be just dividing this in half. I do a lot of things with mirror modifiers. I can't even tell you how much I do with mirror modifiers. Huh. Fun. Alright. So tedious pain in the butt, no? Believe me, I'm no fan of this either. And I think I mentioned this in the last video, I did fix the sensitivity on my mouse. It's nowhere near sensitive. It was somewhere in the setting of like 8,000 something. I reduced that by more than half. So I have a lot more control over the mouse now, but it's not so slow that I can't move it. Tried to reduce it all the way down to 100, but that wasn't working out. There we go. Alright. 1, Z, X, vertices A, drag down, add modifier, whoops, don't want a mask, we want a mirror modifier. One of the things that I noticed too, I was on the server. I was going to do a video a little earlier, and I was running around in the server, and I noticed that one of the other blocks is having a slight problem with the doorway. For whatever reason, when you're trying to go through this side of the doorway, it stops you right about there. It's like there's an invisible face there. Not quite sure what happened there, but I'm gonna have to get that fixed. But these two sections right here, you're fine. Whereas if you go through the doorway on the other side, you can walk through the whole thing. And I did it by thirds. Tried this side first, this side, and then I just went down and you could walk through on both sides. Not quite sure why it did that, but it did. Okay. Alright, this should be a lot simpler. Now, so we have all these wonderful clean lines to work with. All right. To be honest, I'm really not sure how I like this yet. I'm really just kind of playing with the idea right at the present moment. If you've got any ideas for anything that you'd like to see, do let me know. I am going to be doing things like torches and stuff later to kind of get that idea across. Why didn't you go all the way through? Why are you being a pain in my ass? What part of Only Faces was so unclear? Oh, I see. Well, whatever. I really don't need you in that regard. Really don't need you anywhere but there. Now let's do this. Oh, I see what I was doing. Never mind. I screwed that up. It's one of the reasons why it's such a lengthy process. You forget which things that you need to select where. X, dissolve edges, dissolve vertices. Really? Really? Thank you. X. Okay. Clean edges. And that's going to be the lead up to the second floor. Straight line. 1, 2. Kinda dig it. I do kinda dig it. Only a little bit though. Now see, what I'm kind of thinking is putting some design work here, maybe some Dwarven runes along this access point here, or this portion of the wall right here, because this is the flat here, this is part of the building, the Lego-esque building block. And really all that's for is just to tell me where to set it. You know what? We're going to go ahead and edge. We're going to go ahead and go underneath here. We're going to select all of this right here. X is all those. Ah. I always hate it when it does this. Sorry, trying to show you guys what I'm doing while at the same time trying not to click on anything that I so desperately need. Just about all of them now. Okay, X. Resolve edges. Let's just go ahead and get this one too. And all the edges. Really, this is all just going to be one plane surface. It is the bottom. It's really not going to get seen a whole lot. Unless you fall through the floor or something. Which I think that's kind of a developer's worst nightmare. Is the player fell through the floor. That means that somebody didn't do something right. In this case, it would be me. Okay. And there we go. So I'm going to do a little more tweaking on this, guys, and I do have some business stuff I have to take care of in the morning, so you're not going to get a video then, but I am going to have another video for you by tomorrow. So until then, guys, I'll see you then.